A very good evening and welcome to the Buddhist Mahavira's Facebook page. We are going live this evening, and today we'll have a special guest with us all the way from the UK, London, UK. And this Bante is appearing on our Dhamma sharing this evening on the BMV Dhammadana series for the first time. He is Bante Akurala Samittatera from London. Yeah, I would now like to invite Bante to join us on screen. Good afternoon, Bante.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tilak Leslie.
Nice to have you on our show this evening.
Very great pleasure to be with you all.
For those of you who have not known anything about Bante Samitta, let me quickly read a brief profile of Bante so that we get a better understanding of who this Bante is. Uh, Bante Akurala Samitta is the head monk and founder member of two Buddhist centers in the UK. One is the Letchworth Dhamma Nekitaya Naya Buddhist Center for Education, Meditation, Psychotherapy and Counseling, and the Milton Keynes Mindfulness Meditation Center in London. He is originally from Sri Lanka. He was ordained in 1985 at the age of 13. After obtaining special honors from on his bachelor's degree in 2000 from the University of Peradeniya in Sri Lanka, he also completed a master's degree in 2002 from the same university, that is the University of Peradeniya. He had been a teacher for 4 years in Sri Lanka and had then migrated to the United Kingdom in 2003 by accepting an offer from the Leeds University in the UK to study for his PhD. Further, he obtained diplomas in psychotherapy, stress management, and counseling. He's the honorary secretary to the Sri Lankan Monks Sangha Sabha or Sangha Council of the UK. His main interests are in mental health and Buddhist education. He does regular programs to overcome mental health issues and improve life in general for the devotees that he comes across with. So, without much ado, I would now like to invite Bante Samitta to start this evening's Dhamma sharing, and it's entitled Uddacca Kukucca, which is restlessness and worry, which is the fourth of the five-part series on the hindrances to Buddhist meditation and enlightenment. Bante, please.
Good evening to all. Namo Buddhaya. Thank you very much for inviting me to join you, your very noble Dhammadana sharing, which is the highest giving in the Buddhist teachings. It is a great honor and pleasure to participate in this Dhamma talk in this evening, to share our life experiences and also help those who in need. Let us begin with paying our homage to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened One, the Lord Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, I was given this topic on Uddacca Kukucca, translate as restlessness and worry, the fourth hindrance as explained in the Buddhist teachings, for development, well-being, and progress. Even though our title of the topic today mentioned fourth hindrance to meditation, meditation is mainly a way of life. So therefore, this all five hindrances mainly hinder the progress of our life. Life is a great gift, is a very precious thing, and it is a very rare opportunity. The main purpose of life that all deserve to be well, happy, peaceful, and liberated. So let us make the most of this very life by understanding challenges, difficulties, obstacles that are natural in our life. Among those challenges, Buddha outlines very important 5 factors that very gravely, very seriously affect for our well-being and happiness. Those are called 5 hindrances that envelop our mind, hinders our progress, and covers our sanity and well-being. In this series of talks, 3 of the 5 hindrances are being discussed. The first one is Kama Chanda, which is very much sensual pleasures or likes. The Vyapada, second one, which is dislikeness or aversion, anger. Third one, sloth and torpor, which is laziness, tiredness, sleepiness. So today we discuss about the fourth factor, which is Uddacha, Kukkucha, restlessness and worry. The last one is doubt, we call Vichikicha. This is a very important factor that we all need to understand if we all deserve to find some happiness and progress in this very life, and even those who have great interest in spiritual higher developments. First, I will explain some aspects that we can see in a secular way, in a more psychological, psychotherapeutical aspects, and also addressing some modern day complications that we experience according to mental health. Then I will reflect on some original Buddhist teachings, which is extremely important to understand this particular subject. Then I will combine how we can identify this and how we can apply certain things to overcome these states of mind to find the most of our life and well-being in this very life. The restlessness and worry, sometimes we can in generally call stress and worry, can have a detrimental impact on our physical, mental, emotional, as well as social aspect of our life. It can generate a lot of psychosomatic disorders, even chronic compulsory disorders. This is very much related to our memory. This is very good thing for young children to understand as well, because it has a very meaningful aspect for education and as well as their concentration levels. Also, it has a very important part of spiritual problems, because it also can have a part. Once we understand that, we can get the best of our spiritual development. But in certain situations, those hindrances can be very seriously affect for someone to develop some meaningful, proper way of spiritual practices. Sometimes when those things are a little bit intense, it would be wise to consult a professional, even psychotherapeutical support, because applying certain meditations or just reading and trying yourself is not advisable. To consult a better teacher and get some more proper understanding, the person who been affected with this stress and worry nature is very important in the spiritual as well as psychotherapeutical context. To find the original teachings, to understand this Uddacha Kukkucha, which is very fine two states of mind, which is restlessness and worry, I would refer into some original teachings, numerical discourses, Anguttara Nikaya, Sangarava Sutta, explain beautifully how a gentleman approached the Buddha and asked a question. We work very hard to learn some religious text for learning by heart. It is so hard to remember them. So the Buddha explained why our mind is weak, couldn't have the good memory skills because of this state of restlessness and worry we called as Uddacha Kukkucha. This can even lead into modern problems like Alzheimer's disease, dementia problems, stammering problems, because one's mind is raised and they kind of freeze in their ability. So this has a very vital, very broad, very profound aspect in these two words, restlessness and worry, in the context of life and hindrances in the teachings of the Buddha. Therefore, it's a very interesting topic, very interesting subject for someone to really research and understand. In the Samyutta Nikaya, Middle Length Discourses, Nivarana Sutta, Buddha explained how to understand through 5 characteristics of this problem. In Numerical Discourses, Anguttara Nikaya, Avarana Sutta, it gives a beautiful explanation in the discourse called Discourse on Obstacles. Samyutta Nikaya, the Kilesa Sutta, explained with the simile of pure gold, how a gold mixed with impurities is not flexible, can't create beautiful ornaments, breakable, not worth. Similarly, the mind obsessed with restlessness and worry is like a gold but being infected impurity with impurity, so it's worthless. Whereas once the gold is being purified, it makes so valuable and make a lot of benefits from it. So it explained in the Kilesa Sutta. Also, Anguttara Nikaya Nivaranaphana Vagga, he explained to understand these hindrances through cause and effect theory. In the Middle Length Discourses, Majjhima Nikaya, Satipatthana Sutta gives a very abridged, very straightforward, beautiful explanation in the mindfulness of phenomena, Dhamma section, about these 2 factors called Uddacha and Kukkucha, which is restlessness and worry. Also in the long length discourses, Samanyapala Sutta explain this conditions is very much like a person becomes a slave. It's like a slavery with the simile of slave, how the person's life being limited and doesn't have any freedom. Once one free from this restlessness and worry, it is like that the person has paid all the debts and make himself free from slavery. And also explain how a person in the commentary of the Samanyapala Sutta explain how a person in 9 different ways develop to the highest spiritual development by understanding this restlessness and worry. Even in the Visuddhi Magga, the path of purification has a very detailed explanation of this concept called restlessness and worry. The restlessness and worry, when it comes to the modern context of problems, as I mentioned, that has a very important aspect to identify. Those who have this in the modern observations, like they have some irritability feelings, itchy feelings, irritation feeling, sometimes butterfly feelings in the stomach, want to go to the toilet constantly, frequently, and also having some cardiac problems, respiratory problems, lack of breathing, sometimes can't stop crying, feeling lost, lack of sleep, sleep deprivations, we can call it as insomnia, eczema, and anxiety, also migraines, headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, palpitation problems, a lot of tiredness, anorexia, the eating problems, difficulties in eating problems, chronic pain, manic situations, lack of immunes in the system, the person becomes very vulnerable to the viruses and other problems. This also can affect learning and recalling situation, short-term memory, increased risk of Alzheimer and dementia situations. Let me explain a little bit of this modern terms of this problem we call restlessness and worry. It can cause a lot of psychosomatic problems as well as cardiac problems. Is this restlessness and worry all wrong or all unbeneficial? It has an element that is very important for our life. But when it's overwhelmed, that is very unhelpful. For example, our life, normally what we call life is going in a zigzag manner. If you see the normal observation of the heart beating, it goes in a zigzag manner. When it goes up, this body has an immune system to bring it back into the default mode, that there is a default mode in the middle. So the life fluctuates in that default mode up and down, up and down. When it goes up, it has this immune system of the body to bring it into the balance. When it goes down, it backs it up to the default mode. That is what we call good living. But when a person overwhelmed with restlessness and worry, this speeds up. and exhaust the immune system in the body. Once it goes up, it can't really back it up. So the person can call all these psychosomatic problems. When it goes down into depressed, very deep down situations, the body doesn't have the immune system to bring it back. So therefore, this can exhaust the system and cause not only psychological, emotional, even physical problems like cardiac problems. I was consulting someone to share some emotional, to solve some emotional problems and learn some meditation. When he was going through to apply those meditation practices, and I explained just to take things easy and notice it properly, see things as they are, how important this insight mindfulness practice, vipassana meditation. The person said in his life that goes very much aligned with, he was not known to those teachings before. He was not coming from a Buddhist background. He was saying when he was around 40, he had this heart attack. He was in the hospital going through so much of trouble, even the doctors couldn't recognize the problem. And he was so worried about who is going to feed the family, who is going to look after the children, what happened to the house, what happened to other activities. And all this battle in the mind, we call restlessness and worry, made this problem so big and difficult. Eventually, after a few days, he kind of come to the acceptance and thought, whatever happens, I am not in control. That is okay. That is the point that he recovered from his problem of heart attack. He got to be still careful, so that I just gave this example to understand how powerful, how difficult this concept could be. I met another lady. She was going through a lot of anxiety problems. He consulted his doctor, her doctor, and the doctor said that they are finding very difficulties to name the anxiety that person has, because there are numerous number of anxieties we even can't trace. What I normally humbly said to this person, even in 100 years time, they would not give a name to your anxiety, because that is so vital, they're so soft and always changing their forms, because it's very much this emotional restlessness and worry based. So they can't really, they do have different names only, thousands of names to name different anxieties. But when it comes through this area of restlessness and worry, it is very difficult for someone to understand, name, or treat even to a condition like this. When we go into a little bit of a neurological aspect, into understand this problem, we pay our attention from the forefront of our brain. When it pay attention, it goes into the midbrain, and if the person has this conditionality for restlessness and worry, then the midbrain started to panic and ask more hemoglobin, more oxygen, more sugar. The system has to work hard for that. If this condition takes place for a period of time, that can cause either diabetics or heart problems, some other terminal problems, you name it, so many complications can come. Because our left side of the brain is associated with all fantasizing, thinking, analyzing, most of us using that part of the left side of the brain and overused it. Whereas the right side of the brain is associated with this holistic aspect, being calm. And when we do some practices as meditation or some other techniques of, as explained in the Buddhist teachings, that helps for these restlessness and worry to overcome. As a result, that we can overcome a lot of conditionalities, as I mentioned in the list of a lot of names, psychosomatic problems, even cardio problems. When we pay attention from the forefront of the brain, normally, if you are not being trained to deal with those restlessness and worry, it activates hormones and activates sympathetic nervous system, adrenaline releasing nervous system that cause this stress, worry, and it even increase the situation. Whereas if a person has ability to engage in those activities like meditation or some other mindfulness techniques, the person has the calmness instead of adrenaline releasing nerve system. The person can activate the parasympathetic nerve system to keep the person more effective, keep the person more well, keep the person more confident in the practice. So how can we understand this, identify this? As I mentioned, there was a father I met recently. The father brought the son because the son was going through a very important exam in the university entrance. The father was always going to the toilet because father is in stress, father is in worry, in preparation for the child. So this could reflect in many. Sometimes people have these skin problems, eczemas, and some sort of rashes, allergy reactions in relation to this stress, restless, and worry problem. Also, this can lead into some bad habits, maybe smoking, into some other drugs and things. Once this mind or the brain started to have these complications that start to absorb so much of energy and destroy the life. Let us take few minutes to understand our restlessness and worry, the fourth factor of these five hindrances, in a little bit more detail as in the original teachings. Buddha mentioned that life is so wonderful, it's a very precious thing. In the life, the most important object is the mind. So these are the main factors that covers, envelop the mind to go into progress and development. Among them, this restlessness and worry can have a serious impact on our everyday life in this world, and also those who expect to have a supramundane developments like spiritual attainments, they will also have some problems with this. Those conditions, obstacles, obstructs, or the block the path to progress or even spiritual development. What is this Uddacha? Uddacha, the name explained as is shake. The mind is always shaken. The state of agitation, overexcitement, constant activity, very distract nature, very busy mind, inability to focus, make a mess in oneself and make a mess in the environment. The person's mind coils from being directed everywhere and anywhere, or it jumps from one thing to another. That has a characteristics of incapability of settling. What is this worry we call kukkuccha? Is the other half of this fourth hindrance. Classically, it explained as the agitated feeling of regret for what one has done or not done in the past. They are worried about sometimes their self-image, themselves, and they are disappointed with themselves. You know, the modern day, there is a big problem of suicidal, and it says that this could be very close conditionality in the mind for someone to make such a very big damage into oneself called suicide. Most of the people who are suicidal, among top of the list is actually a lot of professionals. It says in the researchers, mostly the doctors, because they understand how they can do it very easily. And some are nurses and some are paramedics because they understand how to make that happen. Some of them in the list of higher farmers as well, because they have environment of all these pesticides, chemicals that can make things happen. So it says in the teachings that the person who goes through a lot of worries have this inclination to some situations like even taking their life or suicidal feelings. The worry is can make the person very sad and upset, and they can feel very heavy. They wanted to make themselves not worth, and it is a very natural, powerful emotion. This could trigger in many situations, like when they have a dependency on a long-term relationship, or disappointment with an exam, or which is very much this one related to the past situations, whereas stress or restlessness is very much related to the future circumstances and making oneself in lot of expectations, lot of other things. As I mentioned, to understand this further, we need to look into some teachings of the Buddha. In Anguttara Nikaya, in the numerical discourses, one discourse called Sangarava Sutta, one Brahmana gentleman comes to the Buddha and asks, Venerable Sir, that we are being reciting to learn some mantras, some religious scriptures, to learn them by heart. But after a while, we can't recall them. Our memory is very low. Is there a way that we can improve the memory? Then Buddha explained why the person can't improve the memory. So memory is very important thing even in the secular term. Like if you take your mobile phones or computers, if there is no memory, that is just a piece of metal. Because of this restlessness and worry, through the five senses, the mind or the brain accumulate lot of junk, lot of useless things. As a result, so like in our mobiles, so like in our computers, that takes the memory, then it goes in circles because it can't be in use anymore. It needs to be clean. So the Buddha explained this restlessness and worry. He explained all other four as well as out of five hindrances. But I am just taking the today's subject of restlessness and worry only. And he explained the reason we can't hold on to this long-term memory or can't access into our previous things or can't remember those things in our mind, because that our mind is not settled, our mind is not calm, our mind is not still. He gives a beautiful simile to understand that. He says, just imagine a clean water pond. It is being impaired, disturbed with lot of outside external sources like wind and some other things. So it has a lot of ripples and lot of disturbances in the water. That is how the restlessness in the mind, that is the nature that makes the worry in the mind. As a result, the person can't see the reflection of oneself. That is why they can't really keep that memory alive or improve the focus in the mind. So this is a very good thing for the children or some adult young people who are in education to contemplate and think about it. Even mindfulness is none other than memory. For example, when you take your child to the temple or church or a place of spirituality, you normally say to the child, remember where you are. That means your memory. Remember means your memory. So that is the person are being asked to neutralize these restlessness and worries and find that state of relaxing and calm nature. So in another discourses, in that discourse, Buddha further explain how one can remove worry and restlessness in the nature. He says that bare attention, wise reflection, through that unsettled mind and worry can be eliminated. When the person do not have enough wise reflection, the person's mind can be very disturbed. And another place in the Samyukta Nikaya called Nivarana Sutta, the discourse on obstacles, he make a beautiful explanations to understanding 5 characteristics, what the harm, difficulty that this restlessness and worry can make. The person who has these factors, conditionalities, called andhakarana. The person naturally blinds. The person doesn't see, hit here and hit there. It's like a vehicle going in the darkness without lights on. The person makes blind due to these conditionalities. Can't see. That's called andhakarana. The second quality is called achakku karana, the clarity of the truth, or to see the reality as it is. This nature of purity of the sight is being destroyed by these characteristics. The next characteristic is called ajnana karana, that person makes ignorant. When person remove this, they develop the wisdom, they develop the knowledge, they have things in perspective to understand in transparently what is happening. Whereas when the person's this restlessness and worry is there, the person becomes dense in darkness, and we call this ajnana karana, indulge in ignorance. Also it explained as a characteristic panya nirodhiya. That means it destroys the person's understanding and to understand the ability to Dhamma. Dhamma is the wisdom, the truth. Another characteristic is called Vigata Pakya, which is to be in the side of suffering. The person doesn't have any interest or desire to be in the side of happiness. Once Buddha was sitting with a group of monks and observed a squirrel being running here, running there, going to somewhere, coming back to there. The Buddha pointed to the monks, look at that squirrel. He can't settle. He is in great frustration, restlessness, and our mind can be like that. He was taking the same example like a monkey mind nature. Sometimes people want to know this and understand this and develop their life through this. They go to meditation teachers, they go to temples, they go somewhere and they are not happy about it. They go to some other place, they are not still happy about that place. They go to some other place. So they are switching from one to another. They are not getting anywhere because their mind is obsessed with restlessness and worry. And they are in the nature of judgmentality. One meditation monk teacher explained this. If a person wants to find the water, the person dig a hole somewhere and give up in the middle and go to another place and dig another hole, doesn't want to continue and go to another. There are a lot of holes now. The person hasn't found the water. So this is what can be happening once someone is in this stress and worry and restlessness. The person exhausts and doesn't find any joy and full of suffering. And also the final characteristics explained in the Nivarana Sutta, Anibbana Samvattaniko, which means to liberate from the suffering and gain the final emancipation is very impossible for the person who has this state of mind called restlessness and worry. In another discourse called Akusala Rasi Sutta in the Samyukta Nikaya, Buddha explained the person who has this in the mind is a heap of unwholesome qualities, and it is not getting any fruitful, meaningful effectiveness into the mind. Whereas if one eliminates that, the mind becomes field of fertility. Especially, sometimes young people who are getting in marriage, expecting to have some children and develop a family life, their fertility can be gravely damaged if the people are being exposed into this restlessness and worry. So the calming mind improves their immune and right temperature of the body to even have a wonderful family life. In another place in the Samyukta Nikaya called Kilesa Sutta, Buddha explained this can impure the mind. So he explained the mind could be like gold, but gold need to be purified. Normally gold has some impurities, lead, silver, tin, all these impurities. If those things are there, the gold is not flexible. It can break. You can't make beautiful ornaments. Whereas if a person have enormous effort and courage, clean that gold and bring the pure gold, that pure gold is flexible and create beautiful ornaments and worth a lot. Same like that, the person who removes this restlessness and worry and find the mind is gold alike, it doesn't stop doing things, and it becomes luminous and it becomes very creative and it becomes very effective and powerful. A person has enormous potentials. An average human being doesn't really discover that percentage of the brain. Like for us, maybe doing a degree, we may have discovered or empowered maybe 5-10% of our brain. When the person goes into more doctorate levels, person may have discovered about 15-20% of the brain. Whereas Lord Buddha means has developed the brain into the fullest potentials. These 5 hindrances, especially this restlessness and worry, has a big part of this withdrawing the potentials improvement of the brain. So the way that we can understand how to eliminate it is by understanding the cause and effect theory to see how these things are being manifested. As I mentioned, this mind can be gold alike. So the gold is not pure in the first form. It has iron, it has copper, it has tin, it has lead, it has silver. When removed all these impurities, it becomes valuable. Similarly, our mind can be impure And once we remove these 5 hindrances, especially this restlessness and worry, it becomes radiant, it becomes very firm, it becomes very sharp, it becomes very effective, and we can develop, cultivate the fullest potentials of our. We can lead a very good life, and we can grow into very skillful. We are all unique. We all have different potentials. This invites, this way awakes us up to develop us into that powerful state of life. Before I go into explain little bit of how we can do in the according to the Satipatthana Sutta, let me give you another practical example to understand what this really is. Just imagine that you are a very good in doing some businesses, something that you will like to do, you are very good doing it. And one day you want to start it as a business. Then you start it as a business, you get a lot of jobs. You can't do it by yourself. You want to employ somebody. You ask for other people to apply. You go through all the qualifications, all the credentials of the people, and you choose the first person, best person to give the job. Just imagine this person comes because the person likes the job. That is the first conditionality of the mind. After a while, this person, rather than doing the job, comes and tell you, this is way you can do this easy, this way is a shortcut, why don't you try this way? Rather than doing the job, the person will start making suggestions and advice. You've been doing this for a long time, you know ins and outs, you are an expert on this. You see this person is just making suggestions and talking, doesn't really make a sense. So therefore you are not listening. Because you are not listening, this person started rather doing the job, putting here and there, because it's not my business, it's your business. I just come 9 o'clock, I finish 5 o'clock, I'm just doing a job. That's called laziness or sleepiness. Just imagine, everything has a timeline. You are given a job of 5 days. Because of this situation, 3 days gone. Now only 2 days left. So that this person tried to do is to finish the job, 5-day job in 2 days. That is the restlessness and worry comes. You can't do something 5-day job in 2 days. The last hindrance, finally you come and say to this person come and say to you, I think your business is not going to work. If the person struggles in that manner, what you should do? Sometimes you can sack the person, get rid of the person. Doesn't want to keep that person because your business is suffering. You are not getting anywhere. But according to the Buddhist teaching, what you need to do is, this person may have all the qualifications, all the credentials. What this person is missing is enough training. The reason I am saying this, we have a business. That business is called life. When we wanted to get that success of life, we employ someone called mind. If the mind goes is struggling in those 5 conditionalities, especially restlessness and worry, you can't sack the mind. You can't get rid of the mind. What you need is to apply the practice. Once one of the famous golf player called Tiger Woods in public asked, what is the secret for your success? And he said, only 3 words. First one is practice, second one is practice, third one is practice. In my Satipatthana Sutta, it explained beautifully how one can practice to eliminate this restlessness and worry. How does a monk practice mind object contemplation on the mental objects of the 5 hindrances? When the restlessness and remorse are present in him, the monk knows the restlessness and remorse are in me. Or when the agitation and remorse are absent in him, there is no restlessness and remorse in me. He knows how to arising of non-arising restlessness and remorse come to be. He knows how the rejection of the arising restlessness and remorse come to be. And he knows how the non-arising in the future of the rejected restlessness and remorse coming to be. And this way, When somebody see this clearly, that is the best way to eliminate this restlessness and worry. And there is another example is being given in the discourses like by the Buddha, how to eliminate this. There are 6 things that are conducive to abandonment of the restlessness and worry. One is knowledge of the Buddhist scriptures. So you have to have a proper understanding of the doctrine and discipline. If you have misunderstanding, some people try to do novices, that could cause restlessness and worry because you are not taking it right. And asking questions about them is very important to eliminate this restlessness and worry. Also, familiarity with Vinaya, this discipline, morality aspect, that is what explained in the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification, to establish oneself in the proper discipline, morality to eliminate. Also, association with mature in age and experience who possesses dignity and restraint and calm would certainly help. Noble friendship will help to eliminate this. Suitable conversations on this subject will be very helpful. When it comes to the spiritual life, especially to conquer this restlessness and remorse, rapture, some jhana practices, deep meditation, absorptions will certainly help. Concentration, tranquility, and equanimity. Those 3 of the 7 enlightenment factors, bojjhangas, are very helpful. In the Samanyapala Sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Lord Buddha mentioned that the mind who has this restlessness and worry is like in a slave. He doesn't have the freedom. He is not independent. He has to do things what he was told. He can't enjoy the things. Just imagine the person is being paid to free from that slavery. He has his own freedom to enjoy everything, and that is how the nature of being free from restlessness. Then his spiritual practices develop. How does it develop? It explained the first, joy arises, so much of happiness, uncomparable sense of happiness comes into your mind once you eliminate that restlessness and worry from the mind. That joy turns into a rapture. In him whose mind is enraptured, the body becomes so still, so calm. It's not being agitated, frigidity, that kind of burning sensations are being, you get holistic, healed nature. And that is the point you feel very happy. That happiness helps to get the concentration. If you are not happy, your mind can't be concentrated. Once you get the concentratedness, you become detached from sensual desires. You are no longer being trapped with sensual desires. And that person doesn't make unwholesome things, and that person enters into and dwells in the absorptions called first jhana. Remember this, even this first jhana, it can generate some vitakka vichara. Vitakka means applied thoughts like attention. Vichara means discernment or sustained thoughts. Those are still thinking mode. That thinking mode still can cause some further restlessness and worry. But when the person absorbed the second jhana, that started to calm down and eliminated. When the persons go into the spiritual high attainment, like Sohan, which we call stream entry, the person eliminates the 5th hindrance called doubt. But still this restlessness and worry is there. When the person attain into the non-returning path of spiritual life, only the worry goes away, but still restlessness is there. Then when the person attain the full arahantship, that restlessness gone. So this is how in the spiritual path that one can eliminate those in full nature. Simple things to make you understand how to do in your everyday work. Just pause. Like if you open the door, don't do it in rushing way. Pause and open the door mindfully. Pause in your breath, breathe slowly and breathe out slowly. That is the best way to overcome this restlessness and worry. and that will eliminate a lot of problems. I think I have almost come into a very important reflections explaining different aspects of it, in addition to just pausing of the breath or pausing of the activity, rather just doing in the very active and busy way. Do it slowly, that is very helpful. Even in the discourse on loving kindness, explain Sakko, Ujucha, Sujucha, contented, easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, not having too much on your plate, being organized. That type of things are powerful qualities explained in the discourse on loving kindness as characteristics of compassion to overcome this restlessness and worry. So also there are some 10 different Kasina meditation practices, and I think those things will certainly help to overcome this restlessness and worry. With that reflection, I would like to open up some questions, and if there is any question, I am very happy to further explain those things. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I will pass on to Mr. Tilak Leslie for open up the question and answers.
Thank you, Bhante. That was that was an excellent sharing. It was a very exhaustive explanation on the Uddhacca Kukucca. I didn't expect you to be so thorough, and also you have also given us a lot of reference material to now go and research in terms of restlessness and worry. There are some questions from the audience. Let me just put it onto the screen for you. There you go.
Bhante, if someone is suffering from cancer, he or she will surely be under stress or worry. What advice can you give this person in facing this condition, especially she has young children to care for? Which is very important question and very practical question. I like that question very much. Thank you for asking that. And I happen to meet the person, cancer person, quite a lot because I'm working sometimes in the National Hospital, National Health Services here. One day I met a person and I asked this person, why you had this cancer? And this person said, doctors normally go 5 years back to find out what the reason is. They couldn't find anything. But eventually what they come into understanding that we had a very bad relationship, lot of arguments, lot of worry, lot of stress that's caused even to take a part of the body out. Now it's too late to realize that it's not worth to be in that state of restlessness and worry. This situation is different. The person who goes through in the situation of a cancer, how does the person can make the environment, children happy. We are not going to live forever. The things are impermanent. Sometimes person may live 100 years. But if the person are not in the present and happy, that long 100 years is not worth. Normally, we have been encouraged to contemplate on meditation on death. What makes it happen is it appreciates every moment of our life. This could be my last day. Why can't I be happy and joyful? Most of the people who are being recognized as terminal, that is the few days they have best in their life. So therefore, be in the moment and do the best you can. Restlessness and worry could cause the problem more, doesn't bring anything. Even in the medical college, they did a research. They found 2 different people who had the same condition, they gave the same medication, same treatment. But the person had a good family life, very good environment, calm and peaceful. The other person did not have a good family environment. The person who had the good, calm, peaceful, happy environment lived long than the person in isolation and bad environment, or isolation and bad environment. So the advice I can give to that very kind question is to be in the moment and make the most and be grateful. That is the best way to understand and make a difference to that environment and to the person. Thank you. In this modern world, addiction to drugs, alcohol, wealth, and power is very common. This eventually causes restlessness. How do we warn away from this addiction? So this is to deal with actually the previous hindrances, because one's mind is into a lot of greed, anger, desire that can cause all these addictions, especially person who we call stress eaters, binge eaters, anorexia, and all these problems in the modern problems comes from this stressless, because you are worn out, your mind is not calm, you try to kind of misdirect yourself into wrong, unwholesome. That is what Buddha said in Kilesa Sutta, that your mind is full of junk, full of rubbish, and what attracts it, all these unwholesome things called addictions, drugs, alcohol, that is where you find the refuge in your life. You are going to down hell if you are in that state of. So what you need to do is to pause your breath, bring yourself back into the present, and eliminate this restlessness. Otherwise, people break the fridge in kind of, we call stress eaters. It's addiction not necessarily to drugs or alcohol. It can be even to food, it can be even to other unhelpful things. So the best way is to eliminate those addictions, and according to restlessness and worry, reflect on that, pause and see clearly, we call wise reflection, and apply 4 frames of mindfulness, loving kindness practice. And this need a little bit more explanation. I think it certainly can make a big difference. At least 5-10 minutes. Have this mind cleaning. You brush your teeth, you wash your face, you have a shower. Why can't you have a time to clean the mind? Then it will eliminate all these haunting vampires that try to suck the energy through addictions. Thank you very much. Bhante, I worry or feel restless when I try to meditate. It is so difficult. What advice do you have for me? That's very interesting question. As I said, certain people who has this mental conditionalities called restlessness and worry are not suitable for meditations. They need some advice from a teacher or some psychotherapeutical professionals, because especially in the 7 enlightenment factors we call Satta Bojjhanga, the person can't develop this investigation Dhamma Vicaya concept. So the person's mind is very racing and the works very fast. That is why they get freeze kind of stamina, and all these problems can take place. So the person need to be developed more, a little bit guidance from a teacher, consultations from a good professional. That is how the person can approach it. But I am not kind of discouraging you to not to practice this. This is the best way that you can not only sort in this life, even many lifetimes or liberation. It's a very powerful thing. But if you are really interested, consult a proper teacher. Otherwise, the person, when the mind is too disturbed, it's like a hot plate. Whatever put into it, it evaporates. It doesn't absorb. So therefore, it needs some good guidance for therapeutically to support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante, for those excellent answers. I think we were only had for 3 questions this evening. Anyway, I've dropped your email address at the bottom earlier. For those of them who actually have questions for you, they can speak to you directly via email, and hopefully you can answer them. So we have now come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing, And Bhante, shall we do the Anumodana to the departed and the dear relatives?
If you can, I don't have to say the names, do
No, you don't have to.
I? So let me take this opportunity. So let us sit in gratitude, calming our mind, to be grateful for having this opportunity. Especially, this is a Dhammadana series, which in tradition explain the highest giving among the act of giving the Dhammadana. Be happy for having this opportunity for you to sponsor this program and make these powerful, valuable teachings available without any obligation to religion or race or logistics. Is a powerful blessing. May those who sponsor this program rejoice in these blessings, and may their parents, relatives rejoice in these blessings, and may the devas rejoice in these blessings and return their blessings, especially to the sponsor family, our Mr. Tilak Leslie, and also to Mahavihara, Buddhist Mahavihara, and all the members, all the listeners, and all in the whole universe at a time of very difficult. You start this program of this outbreak of the COVID pandemic, and may everyone share these merits. May we all have the association of good friends, Kalyana Mitra Sampatya, and may the Devas share our merits, and also may the departed loved ones who are no longer with us share our merits and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let us finally share our heart of merits with all. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo tu yava nibbana pattiya ආකාසත්තා ච උම්මත්තා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ශාසනං චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරන්ති ඉදං ඥාතිනං හෝතු Sukita hontu ñātayo Dhammi ñātinam hotu Sukita hontu ñātayo Dhammi ñātinam hotu Sukita hontu ñātayo. Please keep the palms together to get the final blessings. Relaxing your body and mind. Calming your breath, being happy, the best way to eliminate restlessness and worry, to bring a gentle smile from your heart and experience it, relax the muscles in the face and extend it to the whole body. Apply this few seconds technique and you will see instantly in a state of bliss and joy. So let us share the blessings. Abhivadana silissa nityang vaddha pachayino sattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha Ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for an excellent evening. I think all those who had signed in and listened to our Dhammadana series this evening really benefited from your excellent explanation on the Uttacha Kukkucha. and I think they look forward to more sharings with you in the future. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to meet again and discuss the Dhamma. And so, on behalf of the Committee of Management, including the monks of the Buddhist Mahavihara, let me take this opportunity to thank you for taking time off for sharing your evening or your afternoon with us. And we're really grateful and thankful for that opportunity, Bhante. And on behalf of the committee too, I would like to extend our thanks to the sponsors and to all the listeners this evening. May you all have a pleasant evening. And just before we end, this Sunday at 8:30 p.m., we have the final part of the Five Hindrances. We have a monk from Sri Lanka, Bhanteji Dhammadena Thera, who will talk on Vichikicha or doubt. So please do join us this Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Malaysian time. So with that, a pleasant evening, and thank you so much, and see you again on Sunday. Thank you, Bhante.